Oh, I got to get going shortly. One of the things I want to talk to you about is we've got all these interesting projects going on lately.
Yeah, there's no shortage of them.
Yeah. Tell me a little more, though. I got a couple I want to tell you about that you may not be aware of what we're doing.
Yeah.
But tell me a little more about the cryptovirus group.
Man, it's something.
Because that's a little scary for some of our clients, and I think they need to be a little aware of what's going on.
It is, and we're going to talk about it in generalities because there's all kinds of specifics. But there's basically this sort of play out there right now from hackers where, hacking used to be for sort of sport, and then at some point people try to start monetizing it, and so there's this notion called ransomware where basically they try to come in, attack, and gain access to files and assets, lock them down. You can't get to them, and now you've got to pay a fine.
Yeah.
And it actually happened to a real public healthcare organization in California that, due to patient care reasons, they actually had to pay the ransom. Now, we think that happens in a land far away like California. The reality is we're battling it for a client right now.
Right.
And we've been able to get control of the environment, and they to date haven't had to pay any ransom. And they really haven't missed any business cycles around it. But it's scary, and it's hitting everywhere.
Well, what's exciting to me to watch is how the team organized, because there's kind of multiple facets to that.
Yeah.
I mean, we needed to first, and I watched them, they kind of jumped in on that Friday afternoon, remediated the problem to make sure that we secured all of the workstations.
Right.
And then put in that longer-term plan.
Correct.
Hardening the Exchange server policies and the firewall policies. You know
Right.
more about that than I, but I was just watching from afar.
Well, and here's the deal. So, the people who think that lightning doesn't strike twice, wrong, because in this space, there are websites that these companies that are sort of open get published to, and now people know they can get in, and so it's a race to see if they can penetrate before you defend.
Yeah.
And so we're in that situation, and had to have a decent plan, to your point. But we're making sure antivirus is up to date. We're making sure that people can't download suspicious attachments that get filtered out. We're making sure that any viruses that would actually be sort of enacted on can't phone home to download their payload to take advantage of what's on the network. And so it's a fairly comprehensive plan that we have to put in place to make sure we stop the attacks.
Well, what was nice about that particular situation was the team shared with me the executive response paper that we put together.
Right.
And it basically laid out those 5 pillars of protection. And it was great, that I think from an executive level we could lay those 5 out. It was very obvious for them to see kind of how we'd approach protecting.
Yeah.
And then went through the exercises of hardening those policies.
And it was very real to them because now they had just experienced it. We weren't talking in conceptual realm with them about what might happen, is what actually did happen. And then we could draw that straight line and say, okay, if this, and this had been in place, this would not have happened. It couldn't have happened, no matter what an end user had done. And so it became very material, very real, and something that I think we've got positive action on it.
Yeah. One of the other cool ones we're working on, I don't even know if you're aware of this, but we've got a very large client that has kind of jumped in with both feet on the adoption of the framework development strategy.
Very cool.
Exactly. So we're using the development framework approach.
Yeah.
Very unique business needs, inheriting kind of that core level of functionality from the framework, but then also using the framework to develop out that very specific solution to the business.
And so this is going to be something very customized to them that really should help enable the way their business flows, and it should create an application that works with their business, not having their business shaped to the application. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that it's a business model that you could name the Fortune 100 retailers in the country that they're providing a level of service to. So it's enterprise-wide system that they need to build of enterprise grade.
Yeah.
Great, making great use of that framework development platform.
Oh, fantastic.
Tell me about the data governance stuff your team is working on.
It's when you talk about interesting. So, we talk about business intelligence and information-centric decision making, and when companies sort of invest in that, they see the benefit of it. Now they need to mature around it. we're seeing some movement into the realm of data governance. And what that really means is that people are starting to look at the information inside of their business and the specific data points that can tell them all sorts of details about what's going on. And now they're actively managing that information, governing it.
Yeah.
So how do we prepare it for access? How do we make sure it's proper? How do we cleanse it? If we're going to do something to a system that consumes it or that modifies it, what is that impact spectrum? And so people are really now starting to understand that, hey, data about our business is really our gold egg, and we've got to kind of protect it. And so, so we're working on some governance strategies with people. I think that's very exciting and heady space, and it allows the executives to really communicate with the organization on what they see of value in their information set. And so it's powerful. So exciting project.
Well, these are exciting, and they're really strategic to businesses as well. I want to just jot them down so I remember them, because we've got that, the risk remediation project, right?
Correct.
And mitigation and remediation. And that's exciting. And then the framework development project is so strategic to the organization.
Correct. And where they're going, right?
Right.
Yep.
And then the thing I like about the data governance project is, it's the term I would use. It's so foundational to the organization being able to leverage information. And when we think about all the things we put on top of that with our business intelligence approach and our enterprise data warehouse strategies, having a strong data governance policy in place is the foundation to making all of those work.
It really is, and I think it's going to become a core kind of element to a modern business. How do we govern our data? How do we make sure that we can count on it, rely on it, and we know it's going to be there to help us make decisions?
Yeah. Well, this has been a great event. Great kind of catching up. You and I don't always get a chance to do this on a regular basis, but it's nice to do that. Let's catch up again in a week or two.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.